Everyone, welcome to the pregame show brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Texas Homer. That is Lando and Coach Dub. Y'all know what it is. Pregame for Red River. Y'all need to head over to Inside Texas, though. You can join for just $1. Best team news, team analysis, recruiting, all of that jazz, guys. Please come join the best community in college sports. We're going to chit-chat. All right. We have an important game coming up, fellas. It's in less than an hour, and we're going to talk through kind of our thoughts real quick. We have Justin for a second. Justin, I think we got internet figured out, man. If you need to pop in and out, just
no, I'll pop in and out. I'm doing a couple things, but I'm good. I just wanted to make sure you had the homeboys with you.
Yeah, they're good now. We're all set. So if just tell me if you need to come in and out and all that stuff.
I'll let you know. All right, cool. Later, brothers.
All
See you, Justin.
See you.
All right, let's talk. I have my keys to the game today, guys. So let's start with offense, and that way we can structure this a little bit. Let's also say what's up to our chatters. Hook 'em, man. Art's going to be riding the pine before halftime.
Okay.
Hopefully not.
I'll keep tabs on the chat and try to engage with people as best as I can, so that you don't have to point guard two separate things at once, Homer.
I'm just doing my hellos. Hey,
okay,
everybody. Hey,
obligatory hellos. I like it. Let's go.
Yeah. Quentin, appreciate you as always, man.
Let's go.
See, Gaddis, feeling confident, huh? And then let's see. Let's see. I'm not as confident right now, but I have to go with magical analysis, right? Like, well, who knows, right? What about the game plan? What about that? We'll see, man. Win, lose, or draw, though, we're still riding. What I want to see on the offense, let's talk through this, and then you guys in the chat, anything you guys want to see or disagree with or any of that, then we'll figure it out. First things I want to see is explosive pass plays. The OU secondary has been tested. Their front has been so productive that much doesn't even get back to those guys. And when it does, they don't do great. They can get beat. Like Cam Coleman's a great example. We don't have Cam Coleman, but there were plenty of times Cam Coleman was open and Arnold missed him, right? Like it's there. Guillory, the freshman, has had some issues. So I want to see explosive pass plays. But I want to see explosive pass plays that I don't mean long developing concepts, 4 seconds in the pocket. So how do we get to explosive plays quickly? That's kind of the key. And then any thoughts there, boys, before we keep going?
Look, I'm gonna agree with you. No long developing plays, but if you can see a single read one-on-one, man, 2 steps, not even drop. Just like I'm throwing a 50-50 ball and see what my guys can do, see if they can win versus those DBs back there. That's what I would do as far as the explosive plays. I'm sure you probably would agree, because anything long developing, you probably won't have time to throw it, right? I know people may say no, but I really want to see how physical we can be up front. Like if we can beat them at their own game, not beat them, but like stalemate, I think it confuses OU. Like, oh man, they're blocking us. Like, what do we do now? Now we got to bring pressure. Then we can get our one-on-one shot. So I want to see if we can just stalemate up front and win a couple of series running the ball and find a few creases. I don't know if it'll happen, but that's my hope. Yeah.
Shallow crossers work really well. That's a man beater that works. It's a quick developing concept, and it has a pretty high success rate against man coverage, especially when you know you're getting pressured. You're going to see lots of different stunts and it's an attack front that OU is going to deploy today, right? They're going to send pressure. They will sim pressure all day long. So communication is going to be key for Texas, but you have to expect that you're going to see 5 and 6 more often than you're going to see 4. They're going to try to dial you up quickly. And so those are some of the things that weren't necessarily there. Where's Arch's outlet? Where's the check down? Something hot. Exactly. And part of that is being able to diagnose, not just from the quarterback and the offensive line, but for the receiver, being able to see and predict, okay, like last year, Vandy exposed Texas with this a number of times, or other teams. And then they did it to Texas, which Georgia then copy and pasted multiple times, right? Firing the nickel. Remember having those conversations last year with you, Homer. Ryan Wingo had issues as a freshman, knowing and understanding when and where to sit when those things happen. So those types of things are also coming into play here too. But there's too much unpredictability to say anything is finite, regardless of what OU has been up until this point, regardless of what Texas has been up until this point. As we know, you can almost take it to the bank. Some sort of non-offensive touchdown, at least one, is going to happen, right? And so, who is able to balance the massive swings? Can you keep an even keel? I think Ian did a really good job, and we can talk about this later, but we'll move on from that point. But just something to consider now, early on in this discussion, is the exhaustion that occurs and ensues inevitably when there are these really high highs on one end of the field and really low lows on another end of the field. That's what, if you've never been inside that stadium for this game, it's very difficult to understand conceptually why it is considered, like, at least in the South, everybody understands, all right, this is a different caliber game here. And it's because no matter what, man, you got the split down the 50 every single play. Every play, 50,000 people are going insane. 50,000 every single play. And it's hard to understand what that is like and how significant that is, not just for a fan, but for a player. You will see guys dragging because the emotions, right? Mentally, you see mental and emotional exhaustion on that field, not just physical. So there's lots of different unpredictable factors in play here.
Sugarcane Daddy says, Son's church soccer league game was this AM, and the pastor was wearing OU gear. He's lucky he's a man of God, and we were at church. That's all I'm saying. That was good restraint, man.
Yeah,
that was good work. He's supposed to be impartial, all right. But I guess he's an OU fan. So with the explosive pass plays, this is our advantage statistically. They give up explosives. Mm-hmm. That's really our only advantage statistically. Yeah. So if they play aggressive and they play man, it's there. If I'm BV, my whole wrinkle is I'm not going to play aggressive and I'm not going to play man. I'm going to sit in variations of Tampa, 3 high, and I'm going to chill because the only advantage you have is the shot. So why would I present that to you? Because if it has to come with, if I sit back, Texas, now you got to run against our D line. Likely not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Arch, you need to nickel and dime down the field. That's not your strength. So, and then also, Arch, you can run and extend plays. Okay, I have zone eyes. Yep. So it's literally the whole advantage that Texas does have, the small advantage, is completely neutralized if he just plays some zone.
I agree with that. For the broad spectrum, for the majority of this game, I expect that's the conservative, probably the correct approach. But with BV specifically, and in this game even more so, capturing that momentum early is something that it's critical. It's of critical importance. And so you could very easily, in my head, I'm painting the picture of, all right, OU's going to try to strike first. They know their strength, especially if Texas comes out offensively to open the game. If they receive, or if OU defers, if you will, Texas starts the game with the ball. BV is going to have a difficult time not dialing some stuff up, just trying to create that pressure, get that negative play, that tackle for loss, that sack, right? Just capture the momentum early. Because Texas is not riding high into this game. They got humbled last week. So if you start slow again, massive advantage for the bad guys.
Yeah, maybe you come out hot and then you just phase in to chilling
out.
But you want to punch them first.
Yep. Last year, Oklahoma didn't have the talent to keep it up. They came out hot last year, right? We were struggling to start, right? And then we finally broke them. But this year, I feel like they're a lot better than they were last year. But BV does a great job of stopping Sark's opening script. Like, he's dialed into exactly what Sark wants to call and what he wants to do. You remember a few years ago, he picked Quinn off early. Like, they were on the bubble screens. They were sitting on everything. Like, they knew exactly what was coming. I remember seeing a picture of Key Lawrence getting off the bus, and you could see the picture of his scouting report. It was digs and crosses. Like, I was like, man, like, they're so dialed into what we want to do. Hopefully, if we can find some success early, it'll help us. But if we don't, man, I feel like it's gonna pile on us early, man. I don't want to see it, but it can get ugly quick.
Yeah. All right. Someone, what was it? Anakin said earlier that this was asking a lot. My second point is just O-line doesn't get destroyed. I'm not even asking for a great performance, you know. Like, and if you'll see below that, I just say bare minimum rushing. So it's like I tried to be as reasonable as I could here. On like, none of this is like dominate this or what. It's just do not make us lose because of this. So O-line doesn't get destroyed. Here's the problem. If you watch the Florida All-22, they're stunning and looping and they cook us, man, at like every position. And like I'm saying, like Gooseby was having problems. Now Brooks is in, he's having problems. Cole Hudson can't do it. Like it wasn't just one guy, even though they were clearly targeting left guard. Everyone was having issues, and that's OU. Like that's what their front does. Like everything is slants and stunts and games. And so we haven't shown any ability to pick it up. We didn't show the ability to pick it up versus San Jose State's defensive line. And so now you're facing the hardest test here. So that's where I'm like, O-line, just don't get destroyed. I don't need some great performance, but just Arch can't get sacked 10 times. Like that's all I'm asking for is, and it's going to take coaching too. Like you can't be asking Arch to drop back for 20 minutes and stuff like that either. So it's really just, can the O-line just not be the factor that loses the game is really what I'm asking for the offensive line. What do y'all think?
4 of the 6 sacks last week, by the way, were with 4-man pressures.
Yeah, that was the creepy part.
Yes.
But they and Arch avoided a bunch of sacks. Really, that was like a 10 or 11 sack game if you didn't have a mobile quarterback.
Easily.
Yeah. And so it's like you don't even see how bad it actually was because Arch can move. But if you had a pocket passer, they could have got 11 sacks that day.
That's why people I think they get it misconstrued when they hear Texas fans praising Arch's play in that game. It's not that he is a perfect player. It's that his superpower was on full display with his ability to sense pressure, but then the ability to correctly and adequately navigate that and then deliver an accurate football down the field. He hit strikes multiple times with pressure in his face after sliding and climbing and things of the sort, man. He's still slow to trigger. That's the natural growing pains and learning curve of a young first-time starter caliber quarterback, right? That happens. And he's imperfect. He's going to make some bad decisions, especially in this game, right? He'll do something silly, but so will the opposing quarterback too, especially if it's not John Mateer. But Arch sensing pressure, navigating the pressure, and delivering accurately amidst the pressure. That's what people rave about with the performance last week, but then the ultimate upside, right? And so one other thing I want to touch on and ask Coach and you, Homer, for whoever wants to chime in, the bare minimum rushing. Did you guys get a chance to catch Ian's article about the Ezekiel's wheel? He touched on it yesterday at Texas Live too, so that's why it's so fresh on my mind.
Yeah, and we talked about it on the Wednesday show too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to elaborate there, or is that not necessary?
So just on running it,
like as far as can that be an unforeseen boost to this running game to achieve the bare minimum? Because it has been so non-existent so far.
Sure. So the introduction of the RPO game, we also talked about this on Wednesday. If I'm seeing a lot of RPOs from Texas, I'm just stopping the pass part.
Right.
And then now you have to run it, and now you can't do anything. Like it's solved. So the Ezekiel's wheel is tricky just because of the route distribution and the 3 guys running the same way. And Ian points out it's beat them several times over the years, but is that really just an inherent flaw of the BV system? To me, it seems like they would figure that out eventually, hopefully. But to me, it's just play the pass.
Right.
And make them hand it off. Like it's so that's solved there too. But I don't know how much the RPO game is going to be effective just in general, because like if we saw Florida earlier in the first quarter when Arch almost throws that pick on the RPO, they would just have the will linebacker chilling, and then he would hang out in the box and he would just fly out to the RPO area. And we almost threw a pick. Like Arch is not a great short passer. Like he throws bombs. So it's like I don't even know how much you could even introduce the RPO game unless there's some new stuff. But I do know the good thing about OU is they're hyper aggressive, and you can use that to your advantage if you can execute, because they are going to trigger on anything play action, anything RPO. As soon as it looks like there could be a give, they will jump. But to me, it's all downfield. Like when I think of this game, it's through the air and it has to score. And I've belabored this point because if you hit the explosive on OU on your 20 and get to their 40, okay, they're just going to regroup and shut your drive down again.
Yeah.
So like the explosives have to score, and we don't really have a bunch of 80-yard guys that are just going to catch it and go all the way. So it's, to me, the battle is how does Texas like successfully multiple times creep up to a position in the high red or whatever that they can actually hit the explosive and score on it.
Yeah. That shot zone is like the 40-yard line.
Right.
You have to get it.
Got to get there first. Once again, that's where special teams comes into play, man. Somebody's going to have to make a play, an unforeseen nature, just because of the energy in this game, right? What's the heart rate like of the punter for both sides? How's Jack Bowmeister handle a little bit of pressure if he's backed up deep into the OU tunnel or into the tunnel that's in the OU section? Same thing with the kickers on both sides, right? Like, we're going to find out a little
big.
Yeah, absolutely. Cameron Dicker, we didn't know at the time, but his legendary kick, what was that? 2018, 2019, 18. I think it was 18.
17, 18, yeah.
I'm horrible.
But that kick right at the time, we didn't know we were dealing with an NFL kicker on our hands, and he's doing it now in the league, right, on Sundays. Right. And so that just goes to show you, like, we didn't know what he was, what this was going to be doing in that moment, right? we didn't have that sense yet, but now we do, of course. Hindsight's always 20/20, but man, the kicking game is going to be critical. And another thing too, man, Texas. Jeff Banks in particular was getting busy this week in practice. You give up a blocked punt, you can't field certain punts correctly on the receiving end. It's like, man,
it can change everything this game.
Is Texas significantly outmanned in two of the three phases in this matchup? Maybe. You know what, you say that, but special teams have been an issue for years. I just don't think they spend much time on it in practice. I think it gets the least amount of time, like reps. Well, my special teams coordinator makes $1 million a year. They better.
I hear you. I just feel like they don't get the same attention. I feel like offense gets most of the block on the schedule for practice. I feel like special teams gets their period, but it's not like super.
I mean, Sark being an offensive minded guy, that would
you know what I mean. So I feel like that. That's probably like that. And going back to your point about Ezekiel's will.
Mm-hmm.
There's no threat of the run game. If I know a tight end slamming back across the formation and trying to show me something to get my eyes full, first of all, my tight ends, they can't block. If I'm OU, they can't block. I'm a ragdoll him. The guy that's coming out the backfield, I'm going to hit him. So that's not going to be a free release. I'm not giving up any free releases because I got to protect my safeties because they're weak. So I'm sure a point of emphasis from OU is get your hands on everybody. If anybody like that's going to leak out to the flats, anything, hit them, slow them down. It slows down timing. Now your offensive line has to block a little longer. So Ezekiel will works when you can run the ball and it looks good. But man, if I'm being physical at the line of scrimmage, I'm not letting anybody free. Tight end, ragdoll you. If you go into the flats, you got to get off the ground and do so, right? I'm not letting the running back out. I'm gonna hit him in the mouth. Kind of like the Patriots game plan versus the Rams back in the day. Marshall Faulk got hit every time he tried to leak out. I'm not letting anybody free. So because we don't do things, we can't run the ball. So there's really no threat of a lot of other things. If we can find some success, maybe we can do some of those things, but I don't know, it's gonna be tough sledding.
And it's a damn good run defense. And this is what bothers me with this game plan because – and it's going to annoy me post-game if you get the loss, because everyone's going to turn on Arch regardless. Arch is being asked to do literally everything this game. Like, if the defense has to score, but it's just a gross position to put Arch in where we're like, we're not going to be able to run. We're not going to be able to – hey, Arch, you're going to have to hit 60-yard bombs and run all over them. It's just it's more of a hope-based situation, but to me, it's just not a full game plan. It's kind of like it's the Jalen Milrose style of quarterbacking, where it was just hit them deep and then run. But that's where I get a little bit concerned because it's a lot of weight on Arch. If he does it, great, but that's a lot to ask for him, and still in his development curve. But Coach, before we keep going, let's hear a word from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Any gate can be a tailgate.
All right. Lando, let me know when you want back on screen. All right. You're back. All right, cool. And then so the bare minimum rushing is just don't lose 3 yards. That's kind of where I'm at. Wisner's coming back from that kind of hamstring thing. There's no doubt about his toughness, but even when he's not injured, he's not a super effective back this season. So we have that, and then you're asking a lot from a young Christian Clark because Gibson's they don't want to put Gibson in the game. He's fumbling too much, not just in the game, he's fumbling in practice. So you're asking a young Christian Clark to carry a lot of load in the Red River as well, which kind of freaks me out. So, but just don't get hit in the backfield 3 yards. That's what I mean by bare minimum rushing. Get your 3 yards when we need it. Just don't hurt us. And then we kind of talked about it, arch play extension and runs. It's going to have to be hero ball. So whether that's designed or no one's open, and if they do play a lot of man, that's great. People are turning their backs, right? So you have those opportunities. He's going to have to be able to maneuver in the pocket like that. He's going to face better athletes on the defensive line than he's seen, and athletes that it's generally not just one OU player in the backfield. Like, they're good at getting a couple guys back there. So
they'll penetrate quickly. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yep. And so that's with all their games too, right? Like, those games are designed to get people in the backfield. That's the whole point.
The whole point.
So it's going to be a lot of play extension and run. And then that leaks into efficient passing concepts. People think by efficient, I just mean short. I just mean efficient at the depth in which they're called, right? So if it is short, get it out quick. If it is deeper, don't take forever on it. But you saw it versus Florida. We did on a film study. They would line up like trips to a side and have very quick breaks and releases, and you could get the ball out deep reasonably quick. That's what I mean by efficient.
Yeah.
Because Arch's strength hasn't been nickel and diming up the field unless they do something different this game and they're effective at it.
Hope so.
Yep. I don't hate Two Broke's point there on 2-back sets. I'd be curious to see what that looks like. If nothing else is working, man, show me something that they've had success with in the past. It's not like Sark is foreign to that concept, but we'll see.
Yeah, he'll do it.
Yeah.
And he's broken out some cool stuff for OU. Remember the Diamondback formations they would do, but our personnel was very different when you had the Diamondback. Like, the running back room was the strength, right? So it's not the strength. So I don't know. And how hard do they come out? Because there's been a few times like the Worthy opening screen, right? Generally, we don't come out too hot, and they're the ones that are dictating terms early. And like in the second half, we're like, oh heck, we're about to lose it. Let's try now. Right. So it's also that, and it's not just the players' mentality; it's the play calling and like, hey man, let's get into those tricks early. Let's get them on the back foot early, because the last thing you want is a good OU team that's now very confident too. So how do you cause trepidation in them? How do you steal plays? How do you do these kind of things to get the advantage early? That's a big factor for me.
If memory serves, they actually had that Worthy play blown up, and I think Worthy made a guy miss, or it was like a
that wasn't Stark. That was Xavier Worthy. Just
screen. Yeah, he had it covered well. He just get off.
Yeah, that was just
Xavier Worthy. This team too, right? So listen, if all of us on the panel and most of the people in the chat, I imagine, just based on all the conversations that I've had, and rightfully so, we're all expecting, okay, Texas is not going to be able to pass protect long. The Florida game plan and game script is going to be much different from the OU game plan and game script, right? If we don't think that they're going to be able to pass protect long enough to dial up deep shots, guess who else doesn't think that they're probably going to be able to do that? Oklahoma. I know their fans don't, right? Once again, rightfully so. So that's the thing. Texas, go prove somebody wrong, right? You know that OU's secondary, their DBs are going to be triggering and flying downhill fast on everything, because especially right when you have an attack and a penetrate front, you got to have an attack and a penetrate second level, right, coach, to fill gaps accordingly to stop the run. But guess who's playing aggressive off of those first two levels as well? It's the same mentality across the board on all three levels of the defense. Attack front, attack middle, attack back. They're going to be crashing. They're going to be closing in hard. So misdirection is going to be key here. How can they do that? How can they execute misdirection? We don't know, man.
Well, I'll say this. If you go back and look at Florida, and you may feel the same way, I can win with 3 and 4.
That's
if I can beat you with 3 or 4, hey, linebacker second level, screens, draws. Be delayed the whole day. You sit and wait and read first. We're not attacking because my front 4 can whip their 5. I don't care. We're going to sit and wait, make Arch read the defense. Then it's not there. Then we attack, right? So you got to kind of self-scout yourself and say, hey, what would beat me? Screens and draws, shallow crosses. Okay, hey, let's play back a little bit, second level. Let's not attack, because we can win. I can stop them run with 4 and 5. They can't run. They can't get a push. So I'm going to hang back.
You're playing 3D chess, man. I see you.
It's hard for a player to do sometimes because you want to attack. It's like if you stick to your game plan, wait, let it come to you. If they start getting some yards running the ball, then we can attack downhill. But until then, make them show they can actually beat us with my 3 or 4. I don't think they can.
Yeah, I would go. I'm going conservative versus Texas.
Interesting thought process. Yeah, I don't necessarily hate it. I could paint a different picture, but I love what I like what you're saying from OU's perspective. I agree.
And I'm saying that's what my game plan would be, because that's the way I'm thinking. Like, oh, you think I'm gonna beat you and bring all this pressure? I can beat you at 4.
That's what I'm gonna say. That's the wrinkle to me. That's the change up. And also, like Landon said earlier, like you can do the sim stuff. Like you can present aggressive, but just drop out. And then that's also going to increase your odds of interceptions too, right? Like, so it's like show one thing
one way or another.
Yeah, show the aggression. And that's all Ohio State did. Yeah. Ohio State would just, hey, here's a guy at the line, cover 3. Here's another guy at the line, cover 3. And it's like, that's all they did. And everybody was like, he's a master of disguise. And it's like, no, they literally were in cover 3 the whole time. Somebody would just walk near the line and we were like, uh-oh. And so there's this whole thing too, where, you know, if I'm BV, I'll present aggressive, but I don't need it. Like Florida, like, you know, the 4-man pressures, the games they were playing, they were just taking the end from the C gap to the A gap. That's it. And it was destroying our offensive line. Like they could not figure it out. And so it's not like Florida was running these really like boutique stunts, you know, or like this guy goes here and then we're going to cross dog. Like that's not what was happening. They were moving an end from the C gap to the A gap, and Arch was getting sacked. So you don't need all this. We're relying on just, I guess, BV's kind of hubris here, as hoping that he'll be aggressive, because Texas is 16th in the country in explosive passing. That's what we have. So that's going to be the major factor.
Yeah. Oh man.
I also noticed.
I'm not going aggressive.
I'm not either. No.
Yep.
So somebody said they announced that, I guess, Stroh's starting on the video lineup.
That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, I don't know if they are, or that's just they got the depth chart and they haven't changed it.
Right.
You know, because could be broke. I don't think it matters. I mean, it really doesn't.
Well, they pulled the trigger in the second drive of the game last week, so there's no reason they can't or won't do that again.
Yeah.
And then just overarching, man, like fewer penalties. We're 120 something in penalties. I'm not asking you to have none. That's not realistic. But, you know, if the 11 can become 6, I'm okay with that, you know, because the advantages are just, and what's crazy is Vegas has us favored, you know, but it's the numbers don't. And if you look at any advanced analytics people predicting, they all have OU. So I don't know what Vegas knows or doesn't know or whatever, or how the money works and blah, blah, blah. But the numbers don't agree with that. But Vegas has a weird way of being right.
I'll tell you what they know. They know that Texas needs to be relevant. And if Texas loses this game, they're pretty much out of it for the grand scheme. An OU loss doesn't tank their odds at an SEC title or a playoff run, but a Texas loss almost certainly does. I'm just saying.
Where was Vegas during the Charlie Strong years, the 5 and 7 years, man?
No, that's fair. Yeah. But I mean, those years also weren't met with the same level of hype. Like this is Arch Manning and the number 1 overall team in the country to start the season type Texas team that we're talking about. Not just, oh, you have a top 7 recruiting class. Okay, you know, a little bit different. But that's a good point. I feel you on that.
Yeah,
I'm just having fun with the discussion here because I don't know what Vegas knows either. I'm obviously joking because that's, you know, people are going to be suggesting those things. If Texas wins, it was rigged, right? If OU has double-digit penalties, you know that's going to be coming. We don't hear those things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and the refs are always a factor, right? And so it's figuring that out. But man, I see one path and it's narrow and it's explosive pass plays numbers wise. And the worst part is OU's defense is number 1 in the country on passing down success rate. So when people get behind the sticks, it's the best defense in the country. And we get behind the sticks all the time. So not only do our avenue is the explosive pass plays, they have dictated when in our downs we can do it. So it's like you have to get those explosives on 1st and 2nd. Like that's when you have to hit them. You can't be 3rd and 8 and trying to go for it. So 1st and 2nd down, Livingston, I need you to go for 80, you know, and these are really big asks and frankly unfair asks of Arch and the receivers at this point. in the season. But and then also this game is weird, so who knows what we see? But we can't analyze mystical what could be's. We just have to kind of look at what it is. It's a little tricky.
Yeah.
Do we have any guys? Anybody on? What'd you say? Honestly, anybody on Twitter? Let us know. Let us know if Mateer announces officially. I'm sure they're not going to announce though.
Right.
All right, we're gonna hit the defense.
On ESPN, but,
well, it dipped back to OU side and then back to Texas, right? I'm not a gambler, but
yeah, right.
I do think it's interesting. All right, before we keep going, guys, let's hear a word from Academy. Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets Texas ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find grills, canopies, jerseys, and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour at undefeatable prices every single day. Fun can't lose, and neither can you with tailgate gear from Academy. Academy Sports and Outdoors is the official sporting goods and outdoor retailer of the SEC. All righty, guys. Let's look at the defense here. Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, no, we lost Lando. Somewhere in the ad read.
Yeah, right.
All righty, let's look at the defensive side. So whether we get Mateer or Hawkins, it doesn't really matter, right? You're gonna have to neutralize the quarterback run. Hawkins is more of they'll do the clear design draws, and then he'll do more of a frantic scramble. Mateer will do the draws in the red zone and stuff like that, but his scrambling is more deliberate, and his scrambling is more looking for a target first.
Yeah.
If Hawkins starts to scramble, receivers don't exist.
Mm-mm.
But when Mateer does start scrambling, they did this thing versus Auburn. They would keep Deion Burks as a single side receiver to the boundary. Have their whole concept over here. And then Mateer as a decoy, if it didn't work, he would start running off towards the trip side or whatever it may be, multi-receiver side, and knowing that Burks was going to work back and sit down, and then he would just stop, turn around, and hit Burks. So they also have this plan of they look like wild scrambles, but he's actually just working his way to kick it back to Burks. So he uses his scrambles far more effectively as a passer than Hawkins does. If Hawkins gets nervous, he's just looking for the end zone. So, but either way, it doesn't matter. You have to neutralize quarterback run. We've been running a lot of contained stuff. If you watch the All 22 for weeks now, that's all in prep for OU.
Yep.
The trick is we've gotten a little lazy. When we're running contain, we're not doing anything. It's just 5 bodies on bodies. And if he does run, then we'll shed. But it's just like a wasted rep if they don't.
If you're, you can miss me with all that muddle, because there's a technique and an art to muck rushing, muddle rushing, whatever you want to call it, contain rushing. If you're playing patty cake with your pecs, don't patty cake with your pecs on those reps. Miss me with that crap. Don't be dry humping OU's offensive line. If that's your approach, come on, let's. You're better off. You're better off zero blitzing than you are doing that stuff. Right?
Yeah.
It's just, once again, guys. There's a reason I'm not pumping some sunshine up anybody's rear end right now. It's because of all 3 of us in this row right here, and then I know a lot of other people in this chat, because our chat, Inside Texas community, is sharp, relatively speaking, right? We know what we saw last week, and what we saw last week was a team that chose finesse before they chose physicality. Not enough intent in the run game last week. I know if you can't do it, that's one thing. But when my quarterback at the University of Texas, I don't care what his last name is, when he has the same amount of rushing attempts as my running back room has rushing yards, I have a problem with that. And then when I have to go and look at it and watch it again, it makes me sick to my stomach. Right? And so it's the same conversation on the flip side of the ball. If we're muddle rushing, PK, if we're dropping to a spot and doing what we're coached, Jalen Gilbo, he was just one of the examples that we highlighted on this channel and on as well as my own, because you guys did such a fantastic job. Let's play football, right, Coach? Can we play ball as opposed to doing what we're told? Let's have actual feel from within the football game, right? Yes, maybe muddle rush means contain in your head, but don't let contain translate to soft. Okay, drop to a spot when you are the field corner, like nothing gets above you or outside of you. Jalen Gilbo has a significant responsibility on that play on 3rd and 6 last week. But don't drop to depth don't drop to 15 to 18 yards down the field. If you want to get ahead of the sticks a little bit, that way you can drive and break, but just know where you're at. Now, I'm not mad at Jalen Gilbo because he's doing what the call. He's going with what he is coached to do, which is drop to a spot and don't let anybody behind you. To the non-strength of that play. But let's play ball, man. Can we?
But the offense knows that.
Yeah. And here's one thing: Gilbo's not bearing that's why I keep saying you can replace somebody. You think you can replace somebody with a name because he was a high recruit. He's played a lot of snaps. But Barron had a different type of IQ. Who would have a different kind of IQ? They could play ball, right, and play the scheme as well. A lot of good players, they can be good players, but they can't play football in the scheme at once. It's your mind goes, I don't know where.
Andrew Makuba was also the same.
It takes a different type of athlete to play the scheme and say, you know what, forget the scheme. I know what I see. I know what I saw in film and what I trust. I know what's coming on down and distance situations, and I'm going to play that. Kind of going back to the mock rush. Don't play patty cake like you said. There's ways to do it. Push the pocket. Make him escape to you. Like power rush the tackles, the defensive line in the middle. Rush, bull rush.
You can bull rush.
Collapse the pocket so he doesn't have any running lanes, but when he does escape, you're right there. And that means keep your outside shoulder free. I saw too many times versus Florida. We were in the middle of the offensive lineman and tight ends. Like, what are you doing? If you have contained, bro, you got to stay outside. Like, that stuff you've been learning since you was in Pee Wee football. Like, what are you doing? And I feel like fundamentally we were just bad. I think we played to the X's and O's that was drawn up on the board versus playing football like you just said. I think that hurt us a ton, which you normally don't see from this defense because we have a lot of guys who are smart, right? Especially with Taft and all those guys back there. They played a ton of football. Oh, yeah. It seemed like they wanted to be robots against Florida. And you do that this week, you're in trouble. And I don't think Mateer's so much. He goes outside when it's there. I mean, he might take it up the middle on you too. Right. So those defense tackles got to be ready. And to your point, Homer, if anybody plays NCAA, if you run outside the pocket and you hit playmaker, it makes your receiver run a route, like when you're scrambling. It's like, OU does that. Well, he's looking to throw when he scrambles, and he'll hurt you a ton there. If we lose our man in coverage, thinking, he's about to run, we start attacking, it's going to be a lot of broken plays they make on us.
Right over your head.
Right over your head.
Mateer and Hawkins, so especially with their wide splits, right, Coach? Because and Homer too, they're gonna raid. It's a raid-o. That's what they are, right? Wide splits. If you're not actively pushing the pocket and intently trying to, wear on their offensive line a little bit, Mateer and Hawkins are both quick enough to exploit that gap anyway.
You won't be able to get them anyway. 1,000%. It
doesn't matter, right? Right. So that does you no good. That's why I'm saying you're better off zero blitzing.
Well, contain is supposed to be literally that you're closing in on them.
Yes.
Which means you have to, but it doesn't mean everyone's stalemate at the line and chill out.
Right.
You're supposed to be squeezing the pocket in on them to where they have nowhere to go. But we weren't doing that. We were taking reps off and hanging out. And the play that Littleton, where Dallas Wilson gets hit for that deep ball on Littleton, that's because the pass rush was playing games. Like one-on-ones across the board. We had Trey Moore on a tight end. Like Jet Bush was not happy with that rep, because he played edge. And he was like, this is crazy. Like, they're not playing hard. And they're not getting it. And so that's the thing with the defense is this is what worried me with the Florida defense. Everybody's like, it's an anomaly. That was the first offense that really tried to go at us, guys, and that's what the result we saw. Like, I don't know if that's an anomaly, just to assume it is. It's an anomaly in the context of the other games we played, but it's not an anomaly in the fact that they went right at us and they got great results. Ohio State didn't do that. Nope. And, of course, we played a bunch of scrubs. So that was the first team that said, we're not sure about all this. Let's see if you guys can really shut it down, and they didn't. So that's what we have to see going forward. Because Florida had us completely schemed up. Go watch the defensive film study. Their coaches were beating us. Our technique wasn't sound. We were roboting, following rules, but not understanding the spirit of the rule. And that's what Jahdae Barron did great. Like Gilbo, the whole point is, look, I need to drop back because if there's a guy coming across towards me, they're probably high-lowing me, and there's going to be someone behind me. But if there's not someone behind me, then I can go make a play. And that's what Barron would figure out really quick. What's the spirit of the rule? Okay, that actually doesn't match that context. Let me go make this play.
Right.
We're not in that
Good
phase
point.
yet. That's also, Barron was an older player, and Barron's smart as hell as a human being. So I can't ask that from everyone. But that's why Barron and Makuba were so effective, because they were older players, and they're just really intelligent players on top of being older. So.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the classic. The standard is the exception, right? It's not the norm necessarily.
Right. Yeah. Like, I pray to God I'd have all Barons. I mean, you're going to win a national championship,
Exactly.
It's not real
to
life.
address Quentin real quick, it's not that we're being scared or OU is in Florida. What Homer's talking about is the intent to actually attack our defense. Ohio State played not to lose. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We're not going to take many chances. Other teams couldn't. Florida said, I don't. You're just Texas to me. You're just players that put a helmet on, put your pads on the same way I do. I'm going to aggressively attack you, run my plays, and not shut it down and play close to the vest. That's what Homer is saying. And so the first team that didn't do that, they had success versus us. They weren't scared because we had Texas across our chest or a Longhorn side of our helmet and say, hey, we got to play close, keep it close to the vest. It's Texas. We don't want to get blown out. No. They attacked us. And OU would do the exact same. And Florida had success doing so.
Yeah. And I get it, Quentin. Like, look, they don't have Jaden Ball. They don't have Dallas Wilson, right? Like, I'm not saying they even have the personnel to attack in that way. But I'm more just commenting on the last week comments. Everyone's like, it's an anomaly. It's like, not necessarily, you know, and you don't know who you're going to face down the road. Do I think OU really has the horses for that? I don't. So what it means is I expect a good performance from the defense. Frankly, I need to see domination. I need to see a defensive score. I need to see sacks from this pass rush. I need to see them shut down the quarterback run game. Like, so it's not like, I don't think they're Florida, but we still, I can't see that lazy performance too, because it wasn't just they were dominant, they were, but we were playing pretty lazy, and that was a big issue for me too.
Yep.
My thing, and I'm with you on that, Homer. And just to elaborate a little bit, I guess I didn't make it clear, or I was presenting my point in a confusing manner. I'm not worried about their quarterbacks necessarily. I'm just speaking about situational football and third downs and distances, right? There's going to be a situation where Texas has the ability to get off the field, to get their defense off the field. If the call is correct, but we're either dropping to too much depth and we give up a first down, a chain moving play because of that, or some of the other things that Coach Dub and I just elaborated on, which is the way that, or the lack of intensity pushing the pocket when you have an athletic quarterback that can exploit you. Those are the types of things that can lose you ball games. I'm not worried about Mateer or Hawkins throwing the football all over the yard. I'm worried about them getting cheap and easy first downs and extending plays with their legs because Texas isn't approaching the call the correct way. That's what I'm worried about. Yep. Everything else, I'm with you. You should see my mentions right now. I had comments last night on Twitter where I'm talking about people are not. They're not processing this Texas defense relative to the OU offense the same way that they are with the reciprocal.
Right.
There's two sides to that OU D line versus Texas offense coin. It goes both ways. I'm with you on that. We're just kind of we're taking it a little bit deeper below the surface here and discussing some of the things that could break Texas or that could be factors based on what we've seen on film so far. These quarterbacks, regardless of what you think about them, are athletes. And they will exploit you, especially with their wide splits. They create space up front. And if Texas isn't disciplined, pushing the pocket within their rush, and like having rush lane integrity, but also pushing the pocket, not just playing patty cake, that's going to be a problem. That's all we were saying.
Yeah, and the OU offense is going to bring scheme, right? It's OU Texas. So if we're just roboting, we're not really understanding what we're doing on defense. We're just following a rule. Well, guess what? Offensive coordinators love that more than anything because they can learn your rules and then they can make sure you're wrong. So that's kind of what I worry about with that regard. But no, I don't think their offense is a juggernaut by any means. And that's why, and you can see that really quick. If we play inspired and smart, we could shut them down. But if we don't play inspired and smart, then it can be a tough game. And the reality is the game's on Arch and our defense. That's what has to happen. So, all right, so we expect to shut down a weak run game. They're not Florida, so they're not going to go right at you. There are a lot of outside running. None of their backs have done anything special. That includes Jay Knott. They run outside, and their offensive line is not a strong offensive line. So I expect both teams to not have a run game here.
Yeah.
And rely on some quarterback heroics. A big thing, match speed with speed. So they have Kanik, the tight end, but Ian's hammered the point. He's not really a tight end. He's a big slot receiver. So don't match their personnel. None of their tight ends are good blockers. Don't do it. Get in dime, stay in nickel, stay light, because the whole point of the air raid spread world, pre-snap, because they're a quick offense, they're going to look for who is my fast guy on that slow linebacker. And then they're going to exploit it. Well, guess what? If the slow linebacker's not out there in the first place, now they don't have their pre-snap read, and it breaks the offensive scheme.
All right.
So we should see more DBs or more linebackers that are better in the pass, these kind of things. Match speed with speed. I don't care if they go 12 personnel. I'm staying in at least nickel, maybe still dime, because they don't have the horses to line up and run it on you like that. So that's a big thing. So I expect a lot of DBs on the field matching up. Now, I don't know if that means matching up in man because they have running quarterbacks and you don't want to turn your back a lot. I still think you kind of end up zone, but you can play a tighter zone.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing works too. So, but whatever you do, if they get in 13 personnel, I don't care. What do you guys think?
I just added my thoughts to the chat box. I agree with you on that. We haven't really touched on that point yet, so I'm glad that you brought that up.
I think it's a good point. I think their way of getting their guys open, a ton of mesh concepts. I mean, they got some speedy guys, but I don't think the route run is there, right? Except you got DM Burtons and Satanga. I think that they use mesh a lot and rub routes and pick routes to get those guys open underneath and then kind of letting them sprint. We saw Clemson do it early on last year in the playoffs. I think OU would try that similar approach, right? Especially with the RPO game, but I don't see them physically saying, hey, I'm going to throw a 50-50 ball and go catch. I don't think they have those kind of guys at receiver. So we can just limit the short stuff, the mesh routes, quick screens and stuff. I think we'll be okay because I don't feel like they can run the ball unless they magically, I don't know, found something over the last.
If you're not playing man, I don't care about your pick routes, and so it's also, you can take that away from them. If you
depends on who you're going after. Like if I'm going after Anthony Hill, who doesn't see the crosser because he's so focused and doesn't see anything behind me, and we're going to run the mesh point at him because he doesn't read well as LaFile does, and so that'll be the only thing. Unless Anthony Hill plays edge, then you have no worry.
Quentin, he can't throw. Not worried over here. If our O-line blocks at a B- level are fine. I honestly think that could be true. But
that B-. I'm with Alan, man. Pray for B-.
I'll take a B- any day.
I'll take it too.
Yeah.
So I saw Michigan and Auburn, and I saw Auburn. This is a good football team. The offense is not good, and really, we don't know that much about the defense because their defensive line is so effective. Yes. Guys rarely get tested, and when they do, they fail pretty often. So I'm not against your analysis here, Quentin.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I have a little bit more. I can give Q's point, what he's getting at, a little bit more legs, like with just 30 more seconds of context. Oklahoma's two toughest tests so far this season.
Well, I should say real quick, the flip side, this isn't a good football team. Neither is Texas. So so it's like you have to apply. These are two not that good football teams. That's why it's not an easy, and therefore Texas wins. Because if Texas was good and they're not that good, duh. But both teams are not that good. So that's the trick. Sorry, Lando, go ahead.
You're all good. I'm glad you said that too. But I'm prepared to eat crow on this one. But I'm just calling it like I see it, speaking objectively, right? Even though subjectivity is in play here with OU being the target recipient of what I'm about to say. But their two toughest tests this year, right? Michigan and Auburn. One guy playing quarterback for one of their two toughest tests was making his second career start as a true freshman. Okay. And the other guy from their second toughest test of the season was the guy that they couldn't wait to replace with Michael Hawkins, who couldn't throw a football last year. Yeah.
They haven't seen quarterback.
So that's what Q is saying. Any Texas fan feeling like Texas doesn't have a chance, a little bit, let's push pause there. I agree. But then in the same breath, Texas isn't a good football team right now either. So we have to be honest about that too. Fair enough.
Limit costly explosives. This is not an explosive offense for OU. And they've been much more of the executor, right? The quick passing air raid game. So it's not like they hit costly explosives. This is more to just talk about how did Ohio State threw 4 passes of more than deeper than 10 yards. One of them was just a strike touchdown, right? And then we started Florida, and it wasn't just on the DBs, right? Like the line wasn't getting the quarterback, but Dallas Wilson, he went sicko mode. But the point is they were hitting some shots in a game that I think is going to be incredibly tight, and the margin is going to be so thin. Man, even giving up that one fade touchdown could seal your fate. It did versus Ohio State. It did versus Florida with the final score with Florida, even though I don't think that's a fair – the score didn't indicate what really went on there. But that's my point. Is like one misread and they throw a bomb that can decide it too. So just none. Yep. Texas defense has a thing where the past, in the games they shut it down but they get one. Just try to avoid that one is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Any final thoughts? We got like 2 minutes. I'm not doing predictions. We're not doing the prediction game,
no.
But we did want to talk through it just to what we're thinking. And it's going to be a weird game. Hopefully, Sark comes out swinging, Arch goes hero mode, and the defense gets a bounce back. That's going to be the big thing.
I agree. The fan of me is, I don't like OU. Like, oh, man, we got this. We got to win. Then the coach side of me is like, oof, this is going to be a tough uphill battle. You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know. I'm just ready. I'm excited for the game. Let's get after it, man. Let's go.
Yeah, let's see if Mateer gets that start. Guys, go over to InsideTexas.com. You can join for just $1. If you do that, you can hang out on the game thread. It ends up being like 1 million pages by the end of it. People are very active on the board. It's not one of those dead boards where you pay $10 and 4 people talk. Like there's tons of people.
One last point, by the way, Homer, before we sign off.
What's up?
Soft is a choice. That's it. Thank you.
Soft is a choice, gentlemen.
Soft is a choice.
Is how we will end it. Guys, this was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Beat OU. Later.